PrymalChaos. Hey guys, PrymalChaos here. Welcome to the channel. So, I, like most people, discovered Angelina Jordan quite some time ago on my channel by way of one of her videos of her as a young child in the studio, not impersonating the style of like old soul singers, but really channeling the style through her young self in a way that seemed otherworldly. And that's something that sort of is a point of interest with her, in that she never seemed to be, you know, kids can emulate things really well. When they grow up listening to something and nobody tells them that it's hard, they can adapt, you know, a style in such a way that it can make it seem like they're competent, or they're, you know, channeling something, when in reality, they're just really good at mimicking, right? In the case of Angelina, and, you know, understanding the backstory of her and how she ticks a little bit more, you can see that that's absolutely not the case with her. She genuinely feels like she's a sponge that's absorbed all of this information, and now she's channeling her music or her performance through a prism that sort of is that style, but it's really her own style. And that's the thing that I think when people see that and those videos go viral, they're the kind of thing that you look at and you can't really quantify. So the way you rationalize it is you become addicted and you want to know more. I'm super interested. Let me know in the comments if you can see any vast holes in my experience with Angelina that need to be filled in. Let me know stuff I should check out in the future. You know, I've sort of been waiting around for her to finally have an opportunity to speak for herself, right? And I know that she's always been completely in control of her career and everything. As you guys have filled me in the comments anyway, that seems to be the way things are. She's sort of had a lot of sway over, you know, how her career is going to be, and that she's been given some breathing room. But I believe this album coming out now is the one that sort of like almost like a coming of age thing. It's like, this is me doing what I want to do, unencumbered by any of anyone's expectations or pressures or anything like that. So that to me was always going to be an interesting sort of fulcrum moment of her career. I wanted to see what she has to say outside of, you know, doing the performances that she's, you know, am I getting that across? I don't know if I'm getting across what I'm trying to say properly, because it's confusing. She's always been in charge, but now that she's sort of been giving the time to sort of gestate on, you know, what she wants to do, and as an adult now, you know, she's got carte blanche. She's got the freedom to do whatever she wants. And I've always been really interested to know what she would do with that freedom. She seems to have fallen into a specific niche that she's comfortable with, and it just works for her. I'm excited to hear this anyway. I'm going to jump right in, but before I do, I'd just like to say this video is brought to you in part by Enchroma. Enchroma make glasses for colorblind people, much like myself. So if you or anyone you know is colorblind, or if you're having trouble differentiating these images that you're seeing on the screen right now, click the link in my description. It'll take you to their website where you can get a free eye test and find out if you have a deficiency, and if so, what kind. And while you're there, you can pick up a pair of corrective lenses that can help you see the world much more like everyone else does. Let's jump straight in. Angelina Jordan, Now I'm the Fool. Oh, I love that hollow body guitar sound, man. So
what can I do when you
oh,
tell
that
me
reverb.
I deserve someone better than you? You really know how to break a heart in two. Never had a plane too far for you. I don't understand, don't have a clue. One look in your eyes, now I'm a fool. I know it's just another day in the world, but I'm stuck hiding in the shade of your words. You protected me from all the pain, but I learned that I was just a mistake. You told me I wasted time on loving you, and I just called to let you know.
Wow.
It hurt. Yeah, I just called to let you know. It hurts. We had it all. Now I'm counting all the.
I'm going to stop it there. We'll come back into the second verse after this, but I'm loath to stop these things, and I wish I could illustrate that to you guys, how much it kills me. But as reactors, we can't just let a song play through. It goes against copyright. if we do that. And I like to stay on the right side of everybody's rights and stuff like that. But there's a lot I have to say anyway. It's what this is. It's the vibe that's so perfect. You know, like her vocal performance is flawless. It always was going to be. And the one thing I'm noticing in this one, because her timbre and the way that she enunciates and her ability to sort of pull up into that sort of mixed head voice thing with that vibrato, you know, sort of thing, is phenomenal. It's so pitch perfect and it's so beautiful. But what I was really listening to there is her ability to sit right in the pocket and feel the groove, right? Because those musicians are top shelf and they're sitting so perfectly in that, just sort of like that. It's not funk, but there's definitely a groove to it, you know? And it's real easy to just be a fraction of like a millisecond too fast or too slow and just not get that feel. It's like an instinct thing, right? You have to feel it. You can't really teach it. You can objectively tell somebody how it's supposed to work, but having that feel, it's not insignificant, right? It's one of those things that makes the difference between somebody who can sing flawlessly and somebody who can sing. That's the difference. Because just about everyone can sing in key, but it seems to be one of those things that's a little bit more challenging than it seems on the surface level. But feel, to me, is more important than pitch, right? And she's got it in spades. And again, at such a young age to have an understanding, and I know she's been doing this for so long. She's almost elderly at this point as far as her experience goes. But, you know, I mean, I'm not even sure if I asked her, like, how do you feel and finesse that groove? I don't know that she would even know the answer. I think it's just instinct. I think it's just one of those things you have or you don't. And it's part of what makes her so special, right? But the other thing I want to talk about so far is the vibe of the song is perfect. It's got that 60s kind of element to it, but also the visuals as well. The way she's dressed, she looks like she's about to put on like a really old school helmet and jump in a race car in like a 1960s kind of race or something, you know. And also just these beautiful camera angles, the fact that it's in grainy black and white, some of this stuff through here.
It's just another day
It almost...
in the world, but I'm stuck hiding in the shade of your words.
It almost looks like she's performing on one of those old black and white TV shows, you know, like a late night show where they have music acts or something, but in the 1960s. The way that it's lit, the way that she's sort of dressed, obviously her hair is always usually kind of the similar thing, but everything is so beautifully pitch perfect and manicured to be it's almost like nostalgic. You're nostalgic for it. You can recognize it immediately as something you've seen a million times before, but if you try to put your finger on where you've seen it, you would never be able to get it. It just has a flavor to it that just is so authentic, you know? Okay, where are we? I'm going to jump back to here.
In the shade of your words, you protected me from all the pain. But I learned that I was just a mistake. You told me I wasted time on loving you. And I just called to let you know it hurt. Yeah, I just called to let you know it hurt.
Oh, that reverb's so good.
Broken pieces that I lost.
There's that groove. Sorry, I'll go back and let this breathe, but what I'm talking about with the groove is moments like that, right? The sassiness with which she's sort of leaning into that timing.
Broken pieces that I lost. Now that you're gone, I see you, I feel you in everything that I do.
Oh.
Don't understand, don't have a clue. One look in your eyes, now I'm the fool.
Oh, it's so effortless.
It's just another day in the world, but I'm stuck hiding in the shade of your words. You protected me from all the pain, but I learned that I was just a mistake. You told me I wasted time on love. And I just called to let you know it hurts.
breath in this too. Ah. Oh, come on. You know, one thing I noticed at the end there too is she's in such control of her vocal dynamics that she somehow effortlessly goes between what sounds almost like a belt to like a breathy sort of whispered sound without it sounding like anything's changing. Oh, sultry.
Yeah, I just called to let you know it is my soul. It is my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so like it. She must be such a pleasure to mix, you know, because she's not going to have these wild dynamic sort of blasts and then quiet bits and stuff. It's almost like it's pre-recorded. Like that's what it sounds like, but it's coming out of her voice. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out at this particular juncture is a lot of you probably won't know this. I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this. This is in tune. This whole song I guess it's like, yeah, that's basically it, right? So it's 4 chords, right? It's F minor, C sharp major, B flat major, I think, and then to like a C7 or something like that. Whatever it is. But that's the whole song. Verses, choruses, whatever. It's just that the whole way through, right? Which is not unusual. That's not super unusual for a pop song, but least of all for one from the 60s or whatever. But the fact that she just keeps it interesting the whole way through, where you get to, 3 minutes without ever feeling like you've gone over the same ground, because I mean, the band is sort of, they're moving through different feels and things like that. So that keeps it interesting as well. But you've got 4 chords that just cycle for like 3 minutes. And somehow she seems to make it interesting just with the way that she's inflecting, or she's putting in those little backing vocal stabs and things. But she's not, a lot of times what you want to do is you want to keep it simple at the start of the song so you've got room to build. And so by the end you might have strings or like heaps of choral vocal parts or backings or chanting parts or whatever the case may be. Or, you're rocking it out with a heavier guitar or something, after the bridge, or whatever the case may be, right? But none of that, right? Like if you listen to,
It hurts.
it's definitely, the band is a bit more dynamic,
Yeah,
right?
I just called to let you don't have a clue.
This is like 30 seconds into the song. And this is 2.5 minutes into the song. And I mean, really, there's like, right? So there's just like, she's just manipulating the melody and changing her inflections. And from what I can remember, the only backing vocals are those ones that come in on the second verse just to let you know something's different. It's magical. It's phenomenal. And it's the quintessential keep it simple, stupid KISS, right? That's the acronym, keep it simple, stupid. Where if you've got something that's beautifully classic and perfect, don't mess with it. Just let it breathe. Let the talent speak for itself rather than trying to embellish it. I think sometimes when you throw the kitchen sink at something, it's almost like you're trying to cover up a deficit somewhere else. Like for example, if the singer may not be as, what's the word? Like virtuosic, or like they might be a great singer, but not have a lot of vibe, right? So then you try to create vibe around them by throwing strings and this and samples and all sorts of things. This is like simplicity 101. It's just letting the talent speak for itself, and at the end of the day, you get a 5-star experience. You're not losing anything by keeping less in it, right? It's so good. This is a masterclass is what it really is. It's brilliant. The lyrics and everything are on point. You know, it's got that whole sort of the same sort of feel as like the original song, where it's basically just about love and relationships and things like that, and love lost or whatever it is. It's almost to the point where some people will really connect with the lyrics, but it's almost like it doesn't matter, because you feel what you need to feel from the sound, right? And the way that she's emoting vocally and things. So, I mean, this is 5 out of 5 for me. It's really good. It's beautiful. I feel like I literally just discovered something from the 60s, a long forgotten track that I want to tell people about, because, you know, it's like, how has this been forgotten about for like the last 40 odd years or whatever? You know, like it's just this mysterious singer who existed, but, you know, maybe had a flash in the pan kind of thing going on, and then like was forgotten about for decades. And now suddenly you've stumbled upon this classic video from YouTube and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to tell everyone I know about this. You know, that's what it feels like. And that's the magic. And that's why, what did I see? She's had like 1.7 million views on her channel in the last month or whatever. Well done, Angelina. Well done to the people around her. Well done to everybody involved. This is just a great experience. That's all about all I got to say. I just want to say that thank you for everybody for checking in. Thank you for always sort of making my explorations into Angelina Jordan's career so fruitful, and with, you know, filling me in with information and always being responsive in the comment section. I know that she's got an army of fans, and it's thanks to you guys that things like this get out, and, you know, artists like this who are, I mean, largely independent, artists like Angelina Jordan or Ren or Chinchilla, or a lot of these sort of artists that are sort of finding their own way in an industry that is, I guess, very cynical and mechanical and sort of synthetic nowadays, right? It's good to see that there's still, you know, like the proverbial daisy rising out from the concrete, if that makes sense. It's great. It's fantastic. Thanks again, guys. If you feel like I've brightened your day at all, feel free to support the channel. Just buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description, or, you know, just like, share, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. Don't forget to check out my Discord as well. We chat about a lot of really interesting and unique music over there. And that's about all I got to say. Thanks again, guys. Stay primal. I'll catch you in the next one.